Let me tell you something that took me years to truly understand. Respect is not something you demand. It's not something you beg for. And it's definitely not something you force. Real respect is something people feel the moment you walk into a room. Before you say a single word. I've spent decades studying success, leadership, influence, and personal development. I've worked with top executives, entrepreneurs, world-class performers, and highly successful individuals across dozens of countries. And I noticed something fascinating. The people who commanded the most respect were not always the loudest people in the room. They were not always the most aggressive. They were not always the ones talking the most. But the moment they entered the room, the atmosphere changed. People noticed. People listened. People paid attention. And the remarkable part is this. They hadn't said a single word yet. So here's a question I want you to think about for a moment. When you walk into a room, what happens? Do people immediately recognize your presence? Do they feel a sense of confidence coming from you? Or do you feel like you have to work hard just to be taken seriously? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so go ahead and drop a comment below and tell me honestly, do you think respect is earned through words or through presence? Because today I'm going to share something powerful with you. You can command respect without saying a single word. And once you understand this principle, it will change how people see you for the rest of your life. Now let me start with a truth that most people overlook. Human beings make decisions about other people incredibly fast. Research in psychology shows that we form impressions about someone within seconds of seeing them. Before a conversation even begins, the brain is already making judgments about confidence, competence, authority, and trustworthiness. That means something very important. Long before you open your mouth, people have already formed an opinion about you. Now, some people hear that and feel discouraged, but I want you to see it as an opportunity. Because once you understand the signals that create respect, you can intentionally develop them. The first signal that commands silent respect is posture. I learned this early in my career when I began studying successful leaders. One thing stood out immediately. Confident people carry themselves differently. They stand straight. Their shoulders are back. Their head is level. Their movements are calm and deliberate. Now this might sound simple, but it is incredibly powerful. Your posture is a direct signal to the world about how you see yourself. If you walk into a room with your shoulders slumped, your head down, and your movements uncertain, people subconsciously interpret that as insecurity. And unfortunately, insecurity rarely earns respect. But when you stand tall, walk with purpose, and hold your body with confidence, something remarkable happens. People assume authority. They assume competence. They assume leadership. Not because you told them, but because your body communicated it. Your body language speaks long before your voice does. I once read a study that suggested more than half of communication is nonverbal. Think about that. More than half. That means if you want to command respect without speaking, the first place to start is mastering your physical presence. Stand tall. Walk with purpose. Move slowly and intentionally. Never rush your movements out of nervousness. Calm movements signal confidence. And confidence attracts respect. Now here's the second silent signal that changes everything. Eye contact. When I meet highly respected individuals, I notice a pattern. They maintain calm, steady eye contact. Not aggressive, not uncomfortable, but steady. Eye contact communicates certainty. It communicates honesty. It communicates presence. When someone avoids eye contact, people often interpret that as uncertainty or lack of confidence, even when that may not be true. But when you look people in the eye calmly and naturally, something shifts. You immediately appear more credible, more grounded, more trustworthy. And here's an important point. Respect is closely tied to trust. People respect those they trust. And trust often begins with simple signals like eye contact. Now let me give you another powerful principle that many people completely overlook. Stillness. In my seminars, I've often pointed out that nervous energy destroys authority. People who fidget constantly, adjust their clothes, tap their fingers, or shift their weight every few seconds send a subconscious signal of anxiety. And anxiety rarely inspires confidence in others. But calm stillness is powerful. Watch great leaders. Watch great speakers. Watch highly respected individuals. They are comfortable being still. They don't feel the need to constantly move or fill every second with activity. Stillness signals control. It signals inner certainty. It tells the world that you are comfortable with yourself. And that is a powerful message. One of the most effective habits you can develop is learning to slow down your movements. Slow down how you walk. Slow down how you turn. Slow down how you react. Because calm behavior sends a silent message that says, I am in control. And people naturally respect those who appear in control. Now let me share another observation I've made after many years of studying successful people. Respected individuals do not seek attention. They attract it. There's a big difference. Some people try very hard to be noticed. They talk loudly. They interrupt. They try to dominate conversations. But ironically, this behavior often produces the opposite effect. People may hear them, but they don't respect them. True respect often comes from quiet confidence. It comes from the person who listens more than they speak. It comes from the person who observes carefully before reacting. It comes from the individual who appears completely comfortable without needing approval. And here's the secret. People respect those who respect themselves. Self-respect is the foundation of all external respect. If you value your time, people value your time. If you respect your boundaries, people respect your boundaries. If you carry yourself with dignity, people treat you with dignity. And this leads to another powerful silent signal: how you respond to pressure. Everyone eventually faces moments where they are challenged, criticized, or placed in uncomfortable situations. And those moments reveal a great deal about a person. When someone reacts emotionally, defensively, or aggressively, they often lose respect in that instant. But when someone remains calm, thoughtful, and composed under pressure, the opposite happens. Respect increases. People admire emotional control because emotional control signals maturity, strength, and confidence. You don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to prove anything. Your composure does the talking for you. And over time, people begin to recognize something about you. They realize that you are someone who cannot easily be shaken, and that alone earns deep respect. Now here's another principle that is extremely powerful but rarely discussed. Standards. People can sense when you have high standards for yourself. They see it in how you dress. They see it in how you speak. They see it in how you manage your time. They see it in the quality of your work. Respect is often a reflection of personal discipline. Disciplined people create consistent signals of reliability and competence. And when others see that consistency, they begin to trust your character. And trust leads directly to respect. You see, respect is rarely created through a single action. It is built through patterns. Patterns of behavior, patterns of discipline, patterns of integrity. And the fascinating part is that most of these signals communicated long before words are spoken. When you consistently demonstrate self-control, self-respect, and calm confidence, people begin to form a powerful impression of you. They begin to see you as someone who is grounded, someone who is dependable, someone who has inner strength, and that perception begins the moment they see you, before you say a single word. Now let me share something that changed my perspective early in my career. I once realized that the most respected people in any room are usually the least desperate for approval. They don't need constant validation. They don't need everyone to agree with them. They are comfortable standing on their own principles. And that independence creates a powerful aura, because people instinctively respect those who respect themselves enough to remain authentic. Now think about this for a moment. How often do people lose respect simply because they try too hard to be liked? They laugh when they don't need to laugh. They agree when they don't truly agree. They hesitate to express their real thoughts because they fear disapproval. But strong individuals do something different. They remain polite. They remain respectful. But they also remain authentic. And authenticity commands respect. Not because it is loud, but because it is real. When people sense that you are comfortable being yourself, they naturally view you as more confident and trustworthy. And confidence, my friend, is magnetic. It draws people toward you, even when you haven't spoken yet. Now here is a simple but powerful exercise I want you to think about. Imagine walking into a room tomorrow. Before you say anything, focus only on 3 things: your posture, your eye contact, your calmness. Stand tall. Make calm, natural eye contact with people you pass. Move slowly and deliberately, and observe what happens. You may notice something interesting. People respond differently. They listen differently. They treat you differently. Not because you changed your words, but because you changed your presence. And presence is one of the most powerful forms of communication in the world. Let me take this a step deeper. Because once you begin mastering your posture, eye contact, and calm presence, something interesting starts to happen. People begin paying closer attention to you. Not because you demanded it, but because human beings are naturally drawn to signals of certainty. Certainty is rare, and rarity attracts attention. Most people walk through life projecting uncertainty without realizing it. Their movements are rushed. Their reactions are impulsive. Their expressions constantly seek approval. But the individual who radiates quiet certainty stands out immediately. And certainty doesn't require words. It is expressed through patience. Let me explain what I mean. One of the most powerful silent habits I ever learned was the ability to pause. Most people feel uncomfortable with silence. The moment a conversation slows down, they rush, fill the space. They speak quickly, often without thinking. But highly respected individuals are comfortable with silence. They pause before responding. They think before reacting. They allow moments of quiet without feeling pressured to perform. And this simple habit sends a powerful psychological signal. It tells people that you are thoughtful, that you are in control of your emotions, that you are not reacting out of nervousness. In other words, it communicates authority. Silence, used correctly, is one of the strongest tools of influence. I've watched executives in boardrooms do this beautifully. Someone asks the challenging question. Everyone turns to the leader expecting an immediate answer. But instead of rushing, the leader pauses. Just for a moment. They think. They maintain calm eye contact. And then they respond slowly and clearly. That pause alone increases the weight of their words. Why? Because people interpret the pause as confidence. Confidence says, I don't need to rush. And when you remove the sense of urgency from your behavior, you instantly appear more composed and more capable. Now here's another powerful silent signal that commands respect. Control of your emotional reactions. You see, life constantly presents situations designed to test your emotional discipline. Someone criticizes you. Someone disagrees with you. Someone says something disrespectful. And in that moment, your reaction becomes a signal. Most people react immediately. They become defensive. They raise their voice. They argue. But the individuals who command the deepest respect often respond differently. They remain calm. They breathe. They listen fully before responding. Sometimes they don't react at all. And this emotional restraint creates something extremely powerful. Psychological dominance without aggression. Now I want to be very clear about something. Dominance in this context does not mean intimidation or control over others. It means control over yourself. Self-mastery is one of the most respected qualities in any human being. When people see that you cannot easily be provoked, that you remain composed even when others lose control, they begin to see you differently. You appear stronger. You appear wiser. You appear more stable. And stability is deeply respected in every culture. Let me give you another example of a silent signal that influences how people perceive you. Your pace. Highly respected individuals rarely rush unnecessarily. They move with intention. When they walk with direction. When they sit calmly. When they speak, their words are measured. Rush behavior often signals anxiety, but controlled pacing signals confidence. Think about the last time you saw someone who appeared extremely confident. Chances are they didn't rush through their actions. They weren't frantic. They weren't chaotic. They moved with quiet control. That kind of movement communicates an internal message, I am comfortable in this environment. And comfort creates authority. Now here's something that may surprise you. Another powerful way to command respect silently is through listening. Yes, listening. Most people underestimate the power of attentive listening. In fact, many people listen only long enough to prepare their own response. But when you truly listen, when you give someone your full attention, you send a powerful signal of confidence and emotional intelligence. Because confident people do not feel threatened by other perspectives. They are curious. They are open. They allow others to express themselves fully. And that behavior does two remarkable things. First, it builds trust. Second, it increases your influence. People naturally respect individuals who make them feel heard. But here's the key. Your listening must be visible. Maintain eye contact. Nod occasionally. Remain still and focused. Avoid looking distracted or impatient. These small signals communicate something powerful. You matter. I am paying attention. And people deeply respect those who give genuine attention. Now let's talk about another silent signal that instantly raises your level of authority. Boundaries. Respect is strongly connected to how you protect your time, your energy, and your values. People watch how you handle requests. They observe how you respond when someone crosses a line. And these moments quietly define your standards. Many people lose respect simply because they struggle to set boundaries. They say yes when they want to say no. They allow interruptions. They tolerate behavior that contradicts their values. And over time, people begin to sense that lack of firmness. But individuals who command respect behave differently. They are polite. They are kind. But they are also clear. They protect their time. They protect their commitments. They protect their principles. And they do so calmly, without drama or hostility. This calm firmness is extremely powerful. It sends a signal that says, value myself and my responsibilities. And people instinctively respect those who demonstrate self-respect. Now, let me share something else I've observed repeatedly among high-level leaders. They are selective with their attention. Attention is one of the most valuable currencies in human interaction. Where you direct your attention communicates your priorities. Highly respected individuals are intentional about this. They focus deeply on the person they are speaking with. But they do not chase attention. They do not compete for recognition. They remain grounded. And ironically, this restraint often attracts even more attention from others, because people are naturally curious about those who appear centered and self-sufficient. Now here's another principle that dramatically increases silent respect: consistency. You see, anyone can appear confident for a few minutes, but true respect develops when people see the same qualities repeatedly. Calm under pressure, reliable behavior, honest communication, strong work ethic. Over time, consistency builds reputation, and reputation becomes one of the strongest forms of silent authority. When people hear your name and immediately associate it with discipline, integrity, and reliability, something powerful happens. You command respect before entering the room. Your reputation speaks for you. Now think about that. Imagine reaching a point where your character becomes your introduction. People trust you because of your patterns. They respect you because of your history. That is the ultimate form of silent influence. But it requires something many people struggle with: long-term discipline. Respect is not built overnight. It is built through daily behavior, daily integrity, daily commitment to improvement. Every day, you send signals to the world about who you are, and those signals accumulate over time. So the question becomes this: what signals are you sending? Are you sending signals of confidence or hesitation? Signals of discipline or inconsistency? Signals of calm strength or emotional instability? Because whether you realize it or not, people are constantly observing. They are constantly interpreting your behavior. And those interpretations determine how much respect you receive. Now let me share something that completely changed the way I understood respect. Respect is not created by what you say about yourself. It's created by what your behavior quietly proves over time. You can claim confidence, but people will look at your actions. You can claim strength, but people will observe how you react under pressure. You can claim leadership, but people will study how you carry yourself when no one is watching. And that leads to one of the most powerful silent signals of respect: integrity. Integrity is the alignment between what you believe, what you say, and what you do. When those three things are consistent, people feel it immediately. You don't need to announce your values. Your decisions reveal them. Your discipline reveals them. Your consistency reveals them. And people naturally respect individuals whose actions are predictable in the best possible way. They know where you stand. They know what you believe. They know what you will tolerate and what you won't. This clarity creates trust, and trust creates respect. Now here's something else I've learned after many years of studying human behavior. People respect competence, not the appearance of competence. Real competence. When you become exceptionally good at what you do, something interesting happens. You don't need to convince people of your ability. Your results speak for you. Your work speaks for you. Your preparation speaks for you. In fact, the more competent you become, the less you feel the need to prove yourself. And this quiet confidence becomes visible to others. Highly capable people rarely brag. They rarely exaggerate their achievements. They simply continue doing excellent work. And over time, people begin to recognize that excellence. That recognition turns into respect. Now think about the people you admire most in your own life. Chances are they share a few common traits. They are disciplined. They are reliable. They are calm under pressure. They are confident without arrogance. And perhaps most importantly, they don't seek validation from everyone around them. This is another powerful silent principle. The less you depend on external approval, the more respect you tend to receive. Now, this doesn't mean becoming cold or distant. It simply means developing inner confidence. When you trust your own judgment, when you are comfortable with your values, when you are secure in your direction, you stop constantly looking outward for reassurance. And that independence creates presence. People can feel when someone is grounded in their own identity. That grounded energy communicates stability, and stability is deeply respected. Let me give you another simple but powerful habit. Finish. What you start, you might be surprised how rare this quality has become. Many people begin projects enthusiastically, but they struggle with follow-through. They make commitments, but fail to complete them. Over time, this pattern weakens trust. But individuals who consistently complete what they begin develop a reputation for reliability. And reliability is one of the strongest foundations of respect. When people know they can count on you, your presence becomes valuable. Your word becomes meaningful. And that meaning creates authority without needing to say anything. Now here's another silent behavior that commands respect. Preparation. When you arrive prepared, people notice. When you understand the topic, when you've done the research, when you are ready to contribute thoughtfully. That preparation communicates professionalism and discipline. But preparation also creates something deeper, confidence. Because when you know you are prepared, you carry yourself differently. You sit differently. You move differently. You respond differently. Preparation eliminates hesitation. And hesitation often weakens perceived authority. Now let me share something extremely important. Respect is closely connected to how you treat other people. Some individuals attempt to gain respect by acting superior or dismissive. But this approach almost always backfires. True respect does not come from arrogance. It comes from dignity. Dignity means treating every person with courtesy, fairness, the receptionist, the waiter, the colleague, the stranger. When you consistently treat people with respect, something remarkable happens. Your reputation grows. People begin describing you as someone with character, someone with integrity, someone worth listening to. And those descriptions travel. Your reputation spreads through conversations you may never even hear. This is one of the most powerful forms of influence. Now let me share a truth that many people discover later in life. Respect is not about being the most dominant person in the room. It's about being the most grounded. Grounded individuals are steady. They don't overreact. They don't panic under pressure. They don't chase attention. They remain centered regardless of the situation. And that stability becomes extremely valuable in environments where others are reactive or uncertain. In moments of chaos, people naturally look toward the calmest person because calm suggests clarity, and clarity suggests leadership. This is why emotional discipline is such a powerful silent signal. The person who can remain calm when others become emotional instantly becomes a stabilizing presence. And stabilizing presences are respected. Now here is another idea I want you to think about deeply. Respect grows when your actions reflect long-term thinking. Short-term thinkers often chase quick recognition. They seek immediate approval. They make decisions based on temporary rewards. But long-term thinkers behave differently. They invest in their character. They invest in their skills. They invest in relationships and trust. And because of that long-term approach, their influence compounds over time. Years later, people look back and recognize their consistency, discipline, and reliability. And that recognition becomes deep respect. So when you think about commanding respect without saying a single word, remember this. Your presence is communicating constantly. Your posture communicates. Your eye contact communicates. Your calmness communicates. Your discipline communicates. Your boundaries communicate. Your preparation communicates. Your integrity communicates. Even your silence communicates. Every moment you are sending signals about who you are. And when those signals consistently reflect confidence, discipline, integrity, and calm strength, something powerful happens. You don't need to demand respect. You attract it. People listen more carefully when you speak. People take your ideas more seriously. People trust your decisions more quickly. And the fascinating part is this. Most of that respect was formed before you even opened your mouth. Now I want to leave you with a simple challenge. Over the next few days, begin observing the signals you send to the world. Notice how you walk into rooms. Notice your posture. Notice your pace. Notice how you react when something unexpected happens. Notice whether you rush or remain calm. Because every small adjustment you make in these areas strengthens your presence. And presence is power, not loud power, not aggressive power, but quiet, undeniable authority. The kind of authority that makes people pay attention naturally. The kind of authority that makes people trust your leadership. And the kind of authority that earns respect even before you speak. If this message made you think, I want you to do something right now, take a moment and comment below with one word that describes the quality you believe earns the most respect. Confidence, discipline, integrity, calmness. I'd love to hear your perspective. And if you want to continue developing the habits that build confidence, leadership, and personal success, make sure you stay connected for more conversations like this. Because the most powerful changes in your life often begin with small shifts in how you think and how you carry yourself every single